What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be talking about my experience buying a used car online. So what I'm looking for is something that's got good gas mileage and also that is very reliable. I need it to start up whether it's freezing outside or whether it's 120 degrees. I need a car that's going to go 90 miles an hour for 5 hours straight and just generally not break down. And so what I did, I got on the KSL and I looked at all the cars they had. There's a ton. And basically all of them, they let you test drive the car. And so I test drove a Honda Civic, Toyota Corolla. These are cars that I'm pretty interested in that I think are very reliable and I think would fit the need. Mazda 3, that's an excellent car. Test drove all those. Also, I went to the dealerships. I went to Volkswagen dealership. I also tested out an Accord, a Honda Accord. One time there was this car I was interested in. It was a Toyota Matrix, but it was 3 miles away, and I didn't really have a way to get there. So what I did was I test drove another guy's car to that place 3 miles away to test drive that guy's car. And anyway, when I came back to the first guy, I saw a police car there. And also a sheriff, SUV there. And I was like, oh shoot, I'm busted. But it turned out that those were completely unrelated. The police guy was there just because of, a neighbor had a noise complaint. And I apologized to the guy, but I didn't go more than 6 miles. So, it turned out alright. Anyway, I finally came across this Camry. It was posted for $4,000, and it looked like everything I wanted. It had a ton of trunk space. It was not that expensive. It looked reliable, good gas mileage. So I actually messaged the guy, and I have all of his messages right here. So I'm gonna read them to you. His name is Mitchell. Hi Mitchell, my name's Joe. I'm interested in your 2003 Toyota Camry. Would you sell it for $2,200? I'm sorry, I can't go that low. The lowest I could go is $3,000. I was told I could sell it for $4,000, but I'm trying to get the money for tuition faster. Then I say, $3,000 is probably a bit out of my price range. I could come up to $2,500 if the car runs good and looks good. Sorry man, I really wish I could help you out, but I have to be firm at $3,000. When was the car last registered? When did it last pass emissions? The car was registered a few months ago actually, and it passed emissions last May. Could I come over for a test drive? Of course. When were you thinking? And then I say, how about tomorrow around 5:30? That works for me. There's a church parking lot right by my apartment. Would you want to come meet there? And I say, sounds good, I'll be there. Let's actually do 5:15 if possible. Is it SE, LE, or XLE? LE, he says. That would work. I get off work at 5 p.m. so I can run over ASAP. Great, I'll be there. Could you bring one of those cassette players that has the aux cord coming out of it? I actually don't have one, sorry. How do you listen to music from your phone on the car speakers? I have a little Bluetooth thing. Let me look around for it and I'll try and bring it. Thanks. Actually making really good time today. I'll be there fairly soon, like 5 minutes. I get off work and then I'll be there at 5:15. Okay, I'm totally early, so no rush. So yeah, I get there at the parking lot and I park my bike. Then I go over to the car. I meet the guy. I look around the car. It looks awesome, actually. I like the way it looks. The Camrys look really sharp. There are a lot of cars that look dumb. Like, have you heard of the Honda Fit? Like, it's just got this stupid look to it. And a bunch of other cars. I think at least half the cars on the road look stupid. But anyway, this car, I like it. I like the way it looks. And we're talking, I asked him, like, how long have you owned it? How long since you changed the oil, since you changed the tires? He'd actually changed the tires, like, not too long ago, like less than 1,000 miles ago. And what else? Basically asking him everything he knows about it. And eventually I asked him, well, it looks good. I want to see if it runs good. So I want to see how it goes going 70 miles an hour. So he's like, cool, we could take it to State Street. And I'm like, isn't the speed limit only 40 miles an hour on that road? He's like, oh yeah, I guess you're right. So I'm like, yeah, let's go to the freeway. He's like, okay. So that's what we do. I get in the car, I'm driving it, and it looks great. I'm trying to find things that are wrong with it for negotiation leverage, but I really can't. While we're driving to the freeway, I finally come up with something. I'm like, I was looking actually at the Honda Civic. What I really like is that it has a digital speedometer. And that's something that I kind of look for. And he's like, yeah, this one works though. And it's just, the one that has the needle, it's the analog reader. And I'm like, yeah, this does work. But that was really nitpicky, right? Like, it's not a mechanical issue. And anyway, we're on the freeway. It accelerates like really good. And when we come off the freeway, I'm like, let's do a brake test. We're going like 40 miles an hour up to a red light. I just slam on the brake. We skid for 20 feet and it worked. I did notice that the brake pedal was a little mushy though. I asked him like, does this car have ABS? He's like, no, it doesn't have that. And I don't say anything, I just say, have him think that I'm thinking about that. And anyway, we finish the test drive, we go back to the parking lot, and I mentioned to him, well, it runs good, but what I do want to do is have a mechanic check it out for the pre-purchase inspection. Basically, I just want him to make sure, it looks good. So, when I say that, he's like, oh, dang. And that's all he says. And anyway, I get out of the car, I'm looking around it again, and I do notice on the bumper it has some road rash on it. Some pretty deep scratches, and it's black. So it's a plastic bumper, you can kind of see. And so I mentioned, I'm like, yo Mitchell, check this out. I don't say yo, I'm like, hey Mitchell, come check this out. He's like, yeah, you could probably just buff those out. Yeah. And then I come around to the passenger side, I see like a ding in the door, a small dent. Like, yeah, check this out too. Do you know anything about this? Did you get in a crash? Like, no. No crashes. This title's clean. It just happens. It wasn't me though. After a little bit, I asked him, so I think the car looks good. Would you sell it for $2,800? He pauses for like 5 seconds and he's like, if you buy it right now, I'll do $2,800. And so I say, deal. Put my hand out and we shake on it. And yeah, I say, can I put my bike in the back? He says, sure. He starts filling out the title, his portion of it. And we drive over to my place. I got $800 here. And then we ended up going to an ATM. What I didn't realize is that at the ATM, you can't take out more than $800. So what I ended up doing was taking out $500 twice on 2 different cards. And then I had $1,800 cash. And I also Venmo'd him $1,000. And all this cash, it was in 20s. So I had 90 bills of just 20s. And it took a while to count them all out to him. I mean, it took probably like 4 or 5 minutes. And each bill I gave over to him, like, dang, that's another bag of beef jerky that I can't buy. I don't know why I was thinking about that. I don't even eat beef jerky that much, but that's what I was thinking. My monetary units are in beef jerky now. Anyway, I drive him home to his house. Then I drive the car back to my place. And I'm pretty satisfied with it. $2,800 for the Camry, 2003. Then about 1 week later, I decided to go ahead and register the car. So what I do, I go to the DMV and they need 5 things from you. So the 5 things that they need are, number 1, your driver's license. Number 2, the title. Both people have to fill out the title, the buyer and the seller. And that's just the portion A. Then the emission certificate. Basically, in Utah, everyone has to do, well, in some counties, everyone has to do emissions testing once every year. And that's as easy as going to Jiffy Lube, paying $40. They hook up a scanner to your computer. After 10 minutes, it says your computer's fine, it's not emitting a bunch of carbon dioxide, and then you pass. It only took me 20-30 minutes. They also want to see proof of insurance, and they want to see money, because you gotta pay. For registration of my car, it costs $100, and the registration fee depends on how old the car is, or basically when the car was made. So 2003 in Utah costs $100 to register every year. You have to register every year to get new tags to put on your license plate. On top of the registration fee, you have to pay sales tax on the purchase price. So on the title, there's a spot for the seller to write down how much money he got from the buyer, from me. And then you, at least here in Utah, you got to pay 7.25% of that purchase price at the DMV. I didn't realize that, but yeah, that's actually kind of expensive to have to pay tax on a car. And so that's the DMV. Got everything registered, put the plates on the front and the back. It's actually illegal to only have one license plate, which is kind of ridiculous because I noticed that half the cars here only have one license plate, but it is illegal. So if you have a really dumb cop, I guess he could ding you on that. Okay, so now that it's been 3 weeks, I've noticed a couple issues with the car. Number one, when I brake, I get a little squeal on the brakes, and that's the wear indicator. Basically, your brake pads, when you buy them new, they have 11 millimeters of this braking material. It's a ceramic that touches the rotor in order to slow it down. And the wear indicator is right at the 2 millimeter mark. So they're pretty well used and they need to be replaced. You don't want to go to 1 millimeter on these because you need all of this material to take the heat away. It's really important. If you just have 1 millimeter, you know, it's not going to be so good. If you have 0 and you're going metal on metal, you're going to ruin your rotors. You have to replace those too, and those are expensive. I went to Le Schwab Tire, and they actually quoted me for $500 to replace the front brakes. I thought that was ridiculous, so I went to Amazon and I bought brakes for $40. I'm going to install them when they arrive, so I won't have to pay for labor. And another issue I've noticed with the car is, not an issue, just an incident. I got a flat tire. I just woke up one Saturday morning and I noticed the tire just completely flat. Once I take it off, I noticed that there's a screw in it. So I didn't really know how to patch a tire, but I YouTube it. And basically what I needed to do was go to AutoZone and get a patch kit. And there was like a reamer, and that makes the hole a little bigger and smoother. Then you put this stick of rubber inside the specialized tool. You put a bunch of rubber cement on it, and then you stick it in the tire and you yank it out. The rubber stays there, and then it's supposed to just stay there forever. You take off the little loose ends, and it's been running fine for me for the last week. And I talked to the guy at AutoZone. He said he's had it on his tire for 3 years, and the patches work great on those tires, I guess. So yeah, those are the two issues I had. I had to repair a tire, and then I also am going to need to repair the brakes. All in all, I think I got, you know, a pretty fair price on it. It's quite a bit below the Kelley Blue Book quote for how much it costs. What I do not like is having to fill up the tank. But I guess that's what it comes with. Once you're a car driver, you gotta pay for gas now. It cost me $50 to pay for gas, and I did check the gas mileage. For the time that it took for the gas gauge to go from completely full to halfway, I went 280 miles. So I have 30 miles to the gallon since my tank is 18.5 gallons. So I think that's pretty good gas mileage, 30 miles per gallon. Anyway, that's my experience buying a used Camry on KSL.